All right, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. New day, same podcast vibe. Ladies and gentlemen, yep. You know what? It's all right. It's Sunday. We're allowed to make these type of weird mistakes. It's okay. Sometimes it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Darkness with the Ginger Hue. Not
Mm.
a Ginger Hue, the Ginger Hue. And we'll get to that real quick. But again, I'm one of your amazing hosts, Sir Tokes, aka the man, the myth, the legend. And of course, I couldn't do this without a few people, especially my right hand man, Slang Hugh. How you doing, brother? How you doing? Oh, he's muted again. Always. He always has technical difficulties. See him and his microphones.
Didn't do nothing.
There,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
now we can hear him. Jeez, that
That
mute
was weird.
horrible,
That's weird.
horrible.
Anyway,
New one.
sorry.
It was all that
Uh,
cartel talk earlier. They got
Yeah, that's what it is. I got to mute. But it's yours truly, Slang. Your greetings and salutations, back addict, like a crack addict with a craftmatic. I said that already, but you didn't hear me, so this time you're gonna hear me. How's everybody doing?
Great right now. Great right now.
boom, boom.
Great right now.
Beautiful.
And of course, the lovely, amazing, very talented Latonya is here in the house with us again. She is just always on top of things. What's going on, girl? How you doing?
I'm chilling. I'm good. I feel great. Like I was telling you earlier, it was a very productive day. I got to work on my food series that you guys know about. I don't think Ben knows about it.
Mm.
I can share it later. But yeah, it was good.
No.
Today was a great
No.
day.
And speaking of the man, the myth, and the legend, we are welcoming back one of the originals, the original Ginger of Darkness with her ginger hue. We welcome back. I know him as Poe. He's out there. His name is Ben. Welcome back.
Hello, everybody. Sir Tokes, Latonya, Slang, Hugh. Yeah, this feels amazing being back in the mix.
How you
I've
doing?
known everybody on this panel for over 10, 15 years, I believe. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Easily. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Love it.
Slang bringing people together. See, that's what's all about.
Well,
man.
thank you for having me back on, though.
Of course, of course.
Oh, thank you for being here.
You just helped us with some of our our viewership. Thank you, sir. That's the mission of our viewership. You have to call in for some help. Thank you.
This will work both ways.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to have you back, brother. We're definitely gonna
Appreciate it.
chop it up, have some fun with it. But as usual, we're gonna say and ask the question: what have you done to better yourself today? And Paul, you're gonna start us off real quick. What did you do?
What did I do today to better myself?
Yeah.
I took my children to the theater in Eglinton to go see the new movie. What is it called again? I already forgot. Goat. And so the reason I say that bettered myself is because I'm just infiltrating my son's mind. I'm brainwashing him real early that he's going to end up sort of heading in that direction of superstardom, either an athlete or somewhere there in that world, in that spectrum. I'm just kind of just leaving those seeds every day. So that was one of the seeds. Just put him in front of a big screen at 3 years old and kind of just hit him with it. So this is where you're headed, big boy. So ate healthy as I always do. I made sure it's all scheduled and prepped, and got my cardio in still, and still hit the gym this morning, and just stayed to my routine because that's what I do. And when I get out of my routine, then it sort of it sets me it puts me in the wrong direction. So I can say I stayed on point.
That's good. That's good. I think that's something I know. Always been on his routine. It's always routine. So again, I shout out to you, brother, for staying that routine. And hopefully, again, everything is looking up for you. And we're going to be definitely going to touch base with a few things with you in a bit. But Miss LT, what did you do to better yourself today?
I went out and I met a new person.
Hmm.
So with the stuff that I do, I have to go out and I meet people and I enjoy it a lot. So this whole month, it's Indian. So I went to another restaurant. I met up with an owner of this restaurant today, and we had a really nice conversation about his culture and getting to learn it a bit more. So the fact that I was able to just go out and meet someone new and intertwine myself into another culture, it made me feel good because I never used to be like that before. So
Mm.
the more I do it, it makes me feel better every time I do it. So yeah.
Wonderful,
That's
wonderful,
dope.
wonderful.
That's dope.
Okay. Slangas. What about you, Langston?
Well, this is gonna be a little personal, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So today, me and Devin started. Well, it didn't start. We already started it, but we started working on the together portion of our couples therapy session. So we started session one of our self help couples therapy. So that would be definitely something that I did to make myself better today.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Amazing.
Hey,
Very
man, good for
that's
you, man.
a thing, beautiful thing.
Never thought I'd be here. Like, if you asked me this when I was 20, 25, 30, I would have laughed in your face. I'd have done. Like, couples therapy for what? Go to Gallum,
Yeah.
they're Gallum are crazy. That's all I need to know. But yeah, no. With age comes maturity, hopefully, and growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. As for myself, today, I'm going to go back to yesterday. Yesterday, I was kind of asked to go check out some of these TikTok lives. And I said, well, I've been in a part of a few of them, but yeah, a friend of mine said, you need to just check out what people are doing on these lives. I'm like, okay, so you did that doom scrolling. So I started scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And it was Valentine's Day yesterday. So that was another kind of a bonus to what was being done or said. And I realized that a lot of people don't do anything on these lives and just talk gibberish. So I'm like, oh, okay. But then I caught a vibe of a woman who was in Georgia, and she was just playing a lot of songs. Like, oh, I like this still here. I started playing. I asked me for a song request, like over a song request, and one that you
Sound
was
kind of
wanting
muffled.
to hear.
Yeah, your audio
Am I
went weird.
am I audio?
It's fine now. It went
Oh,
crazy for a second.
my apologies, my apologies. But yeah, I stuck in the vibe for a while, and we had a great conversation. Found out she is a mental health professional in Georgia, and I actually asked her if she can probably pop in one of our shows and talk mental health, both men, women, and couples. So look for that. I love
Go.
the networking thing about the whole journey. So that was a bonus for me. So meeting new people out of my comfort. I want to say out of my comfort zone, but out of my element. I usually don't go TikTok and start talking to people. I usually just make fun of people, but that's neither here nor there. So it was nice to do, and I enjoyed it. So yeah,
Go.
that was myself and my betterment of the day or the weekend, I guess.
So let me ask you a question of those that are relationship bound. Did you guys do Valentine's things? Do you celebrate the Valentine's thing?
I did it the
Or
day before. So I
Mhm.
came home with the flowers the day before. I took my son to go get the flowers at 3. I said, listen, this is what you got to do. And
Nice.
he doesn't understand what I'm doing, but I said, you got to get the flowers the day before so that you make sure you don't forget. And then so I just got the flowers, and I don't overdo it, but it's just the thought that counts. That's the way
Indeed.
I look at it, especially, that's my lady. We're
Yo.
married.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Aw,
Yo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like that. Elle, you didn't do anything?
not really.
Huh?
She's like,
No, go ahead. Ask the question because I have a follow up question for you in particular. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, to me it's like I'm like one of those every day is,
Me too.
the love day and whatever. But yeah, there was a place I wanted to go to yesterday, but um it was full because everyone else was going. So
reservations, yeah, yeah.
yeah, reservations was crazy. And so yeah, Sean just bought Thai food and we ate it and I watched YouTube and I went to bed.
Eventful. So,
Another
okay.
special Saturday
That was the
Saturday night.
I had this. I have a question for you, Elle, in particular. Not on topic yet, but I had a conversation with a lady friend of mine yesterday.
Mhm.
Uh, I was telling her Devin's not really big on those things either. And her retort, and this is not the first time a woman has said this to me, is, "Are you sure?" Are you sure she's just not the type of woman to not tell you what she wants and she's just playing the game and hoping that you still do a bunch of different stuff? So I'm asking you, are you the type, like, do you tell your partner that what you want or don't want and you mean that thing? Or is there a hope that he's going to go above and beyond what you actually tell him? Sean, don't listen.
Um, no, not really. Like he knows me. He's known me long enough to just do what he thinks that I would like, but I don't but I've gotten to the point where I just kind of live each day as it comes. Like I don't really for example, Christmas time, like I won't really say much of I want this, I want that. I just kind of let it go and whatever happens, happens. Um, but yeah, no, I don't do the reverse psychology thing. I really don't. I
Okay.
really it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
There's no room in the world for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
when she
don't.
said it to me, she's like, "What if she's that type of the girl that didn't tell you?" Then I said, "Well, then she wouldn't be an adult." I don't understand why an adult can't tell you what they want.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're gonna get it, but they
She
should be able
wouldn't
to tell you what they want.
girl. She wouldn't be my girl if that's the case.
That's even more important.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing that game now, I'm a grown ass man. I'm sorry. You better tell me what you want.
For that.
Yeah, that effort to play play chess when you're playing checkers. No, man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You want this? I will get it for you. You know,
It's not even chess. That's Jenga.
exactly, exactly.
Snakes and ladders and stuff.
Yes.
like
Yeah.
It's weird.
Goldfish.
Goldfish. Yeah. Uno.
Yeah, all
But
these
yeah,
games
okay.
goes up your head.
I just want to gratify myself that I'm not crazy out here in this world.
No,
No, again, now isn't just
I know some women that are like that.
Me too.
So
They're called exes.
it's no, they're called Pringles. Sorry.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's it for them. It is what it is. But again, to each their own. If that's how they want to manipulate or entertain or do whatever with the opposite sex, that is their choice.
Dudes
Or
do
their
that too,
significant other.
though. Let's not just
That's
dudes do
okay.
that too.
Yep, that is
Yeah.
fair.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Again, every time we talk, it is both sides. We don't want to say it's one side or the other. It's definitely both sides. Because again, there are relationships that are same sex. So I mean, you're gonna get that vibe no matter what. So let's be honest. It is what it is. All right. We're going to start with a very I want to say dark, but a very disturbing situation that happened recently. We have some footage, or we have a clipping about what recently happened in Canada here. So let's roll that clip, and we'll get you guys chiming in on that. So give me a sec while I get this going. Here we go. 1 sec.
The horrific mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC left 9 dead and 27 more injured and started at the home of the suspect, 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootsiller. Here's a timeline based on community voices and police reports we have so far.
The incident at the home occurred first, where we have the 2 deceased family members. And from there, our suspect attended the school and commenced their criminal activity there.
At 1:20 p.m. Mountain Time, RCMP received a report of an active shooter at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. The school was put into lockdown along with Tumbler Ridge Elementary School nearby. 1:22, police arrive at the scene. According to Tumbler Ridge secondary student Darian Quist, around that time he had heard an alarm at the school that he hadn't heard before.
Our principal goes throughout the halls and she's saying, people close your doors, lock down. I thought it was a secure and hold and something like that at first. But once things started circulating, we realized how serious it really was. So we all barricaded up the doors with some iron tables.
RCMP said the rampage took place in 2 parts of the school.
There was one victim that was located deceased in the stairwell of the school, and the others were located, I believe, in the library.
While Darian and his classmates remained locked down, according to RCMP at 2:47 local time, the police were called to the suspect's home, where the suspect's mother and stepbrother were found dead. An alert was sent out at 3:15 across the community, stating to shelter in place, lock your doors, and refrain from leaving your home or businesses at this time. By 4:16, RCMP was still investigating and released a statement to say the original suspect was believed to be dead, but they were still determining if anyone else was involved. Around that time, Darian says he and the other students were escorted to safety.
RCMP got in, telling everyone to put their hands up, and we were all escorted out of the building and sent towards the community center.
At 5:45 p.m., the lockdown was lifted, and police said they did not believe there were any outstanding suspects or ongoing threat to the public. While the immediate danger was over, the grieving had just begun.
All right there, folks. I didn't think I've ever be in the world that there was a mass shooting in Canada. It brought to my attention that there was 9 victims that were that had their lives ended. The 10th being the suspect, and I believe 23 others were wounded in this mass shooting. Your thoughts on this matter? We'll start with you, Slang.
I mean, like you said, it's when I first heard about it, I thought I totally didn't even think it was Canada. Like automatically, it's just like, oh, America again, like U.S. They're at it again. As totally as that sounds, it's the reality that we're used to. It's usually not this side of the border. Then when I found out it was Canada, I was like, what? Where in Canada? Where is that happening? And the more and more details that come out, it's crazy. It is crazy. I still don't necessarily know how to feel or how to articulate how I feel. All I know is it's sad. It doesn't feel real. I mean, especially because it didn't happen to me or people that I know. So it's still far enough away to be able to not fully identify with what those people are going through now. Or and at the time, like imagine, like as I was watching the video, I was imagining myself being in school and somebody coming in there and shooting up the place, and I could not picture it. It's like that's something that I could fathom. Yeah, it's crazy.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I'm going to talk to Poe on a parent level, because we both have kids. Your thoughts about that, and how are you feeling in terms of this kind of hitting us on our own soil here?
Well, obviously, kids are not. It's terrifying, and imagine. I can't even imagine what those parents are going through. Like just even the thought of just like missing your kid for 10 minutes would send me to hell and back. But I can't even imagine knowing that there's a shooting at their school. I just, they always say like that's the kid. If somebody did something to my kid, that's when I'm going to jail. Like I know I'll flip. Something will flip in my mind. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to look at the point of why this is happening. So, like, just to go quick on that, because obviously we all this is very sad, and it goes deep. But I'm just wondering. Remember back in the day, like in Columbine '99, when Columbine happened, when they're like they put blame on everybody but the kids at the time. So they were blaming the music that they were listening to. Remember they were like, where they blamed Marilyn Manson and Bone Thugs. Remember they were like, oh, and they were listening to Bone Thugs in the car or Marilyn Manson in the car and blah 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 blah. And then as tech, as social media comes in, they start blaming social media, and then when they're older, and then these people shoot at like Vegas, they call them lone wolves. There's never any like what happened at the ground level. Why are these people doing this? And my thing is like people. The hardest thing to do in life is love yourself. And I think there's an epidemic, and it's been going on forever, and of loving ourselves, because it is the hardest thing to do. And it comes from how you were parented. And I believe that, and not everybody can be a perfect parent. Nobody is a perfect parent, but I do believe that give your kid a chance to love himself or herself, and they'll be able to have the confidence to go into school that when, because we all know what school is like. And especially now, I can't even imagine what it's like with social media when somebody talks some shit on you in social media on top of being amongst your peers, having to deal with both of those things. Kids are going to snap. And so to have that confidence and have that love in yourself to be able to at least have some protection in yourself to let that bounce off you and keep your head up and move on and stay confident, I think is what we need to instill in our kids. To your point, Toes, that we have kids. That's what I'm trying to tell my kids every single day is, don't follow what everybody else is doing. If you don't want to do it, do your own thing and have the confidence in that. When they pressure you to try to follow what they're doing, just stick to your gut and be you. And that's the coolest thing you can do. And that's how you win. So that's my point.
Well said.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Amen. Latonya, what about you? Your take on this?
My take, same thing. I was really sad when I heard about it. And, for me, the hardest part is remembering that this isn't just a headline. It's families whose lives will never be the same. Um, I always think about the ripple effect. It's not just about the victim, it's the classmates, it's the teachers, it's the parents, the entire community, and I think we're good at reacting to emotion, but I wonder if we're good at responding um, long term. Like, what are we
Mhm.
going to do long term? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and we just need to sit back and think about what we can do about that. Like, I felt the same way when Omar was saying that. When Slang was saying that, when you turned on the TV and, right away you thought about America and you thought it was down there. I thought the same thing too. I think a lot of people thought that actually.
Mm-hmm.
But when I took the time to hear it more, it surprised me. And I'm
Mhm.
just like thinking to myself, okay, but what next? What are we going to do now? So we just have to sit back, wait and see if something's going to be done about this here, happening here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point.
When I took in this information, like you, I didn't know. I really don't try to follow the news as much as I should, just because a lot of the news, as we know, is really negative, and I do not want to fill my head with negativity. But again, you
Likewise.
want to be informed of what's going on in the world. So when someone told me about that, a few emotions hit me: shock, anger, and fear. And I'll explain those. I was shocked because, again, this is something that is really not common on Canadian soil. Okay. We all heard about the shootings in the U.S. More mass shootings than us. But again, it's not saying we are immune to that. It does happen, and as you can see, it happened recently. So I was shocked. I was angry because, like Bo said, how do we let this happen? Where did the situation, where did the society go wrong with this individual? You know, what happened? Were there any signs? Was there a lack of love? Like, what? I wanted to know, why would this be done at this time? That's what I was angry about. The fear is the fact it was on Canadian soil, and that I have a child in school, that it could happen at any time. So I'm scared shitless now, because there's going to be people who have seen this footage, and even kids who are probably feeling that type of way.
Mm.
They're now given that green light to think, you know what? This guy did it. You know what? I'm feeling this type of way. I might
Mm.
just go off, it just opens that Pandora's box of possibilities of what could happen now. Now that
Mm.
it happens. I mean, if you go back in time, in terms of certain serial killers. I mean, there's serial killers, and then you have copycats of these killers and so forth because they saw something that they wanted to do, but they didn't see the door or opening to do it. Now they see it getting done and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this too. Right. And you'll see people doing things, may not be the exact same thing, but something along the lines. So that's what scares me because, again, I have children in school and I'm like, now that it's in Canada, man, I got to look both ways, up, down, and make sure that I've crossed my T's and dotted my I's on anything and everything that's going on in my world. I mean, just before we started, I was checking on my daughter, and she drew on herself with a marker. And back in the day, parents would get upset. Why are you drawing yourself? What's going on? And she said, you know what? They're washable markers. I'm like, no problem. You know what? You expressed yourself. No problem. We're gonna have a bath later. That's it. That's all that clued in. I can't get mad at that. It's not hurting her. It's not killing anybody. It is what it is. Let it go. Because again, how you deal with the situation at that level, it's gonna resonate with them. Oh, you know what? This person didn't do that. It's nothing crazy or bad, but again, I had to kind of know my limits and know my boundaries on how to deal with certain situations. Because if you deal with it too harsh, you get a reaction. If you don't with it harsh enough, you get a different reaction. So I'm on pins and needles right now when it comes to deal with children. So that's my take on the whole.
Makes sense.
I have a question for you
Go
guys.
ahead. Me too, actually, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Do you guys feel or think that when teachers see a child sitting by themselves, playing by themselves, doing things that are a little irregular from the other kids, that they should pull them aside at recess or while the kids go out and play, let them stay in the class and talk to them to kind of feel them out to see. Do you think that they do that already, or they should do that, or they just send them like as soon as the bell rings, they send them on their way home? I know it's a fully loaded question, but
Well, I know at my daughter's school they do that.
Nice.
They'll take the kid aside. And for me, for an example, when I was a kid, I remember grade 3, grade 4, when my parents were going through a divorce, that I was feeling it hit me hard, that divorce. And I remember I was a little bit like taken back and being like what you just said, kind of just I was sad, right? And depressed. And I didn't know what sad and depressed was in grade 4, and the teacher took me aside and asked me like, what's going on? Are you okay? So even back then, and now I see it at my daughter's school, they do take the kid aside
okay.
yeah. And this is
That's
young
good.
too. This is like grade 4,
Yeah.
grade 5,
That's
so.
very good. So
Now,
not that I would know, like of course the parents would know better. I I would I would assume it totally depends, especially in like a city such as Toronto where the classrooms are huge sizes and teachers don't necessarily have the time to individualize their children's problems or even their children. Like even in educating them, they don't necessarily have the time to do, never mind the personal lives and so forth and so on. Also, similar to how we were speaking about police on the last, not the last, but the one before podcast.
mhm.
I don't know how many of them are trained to deal with those situations, which I think they should be. I think if you're a public servant on those levels, police, teachers, there should be some form of uh, training and psychotherapy for even the teachers and the police themselves, because they have to deal with a lot when it comes to these kids or people in general. But speaking of teachers and children, and as the stats kind of show, teachers are with the children a lot longer sometimes than their own parents or their own families. They have more time with them. So that being considered, I think they should have training, and I think that there should be time given to them. But I don't think it's easy for them to do, especially like in a city. Now, in a rural situation, which is part of one of my questions, so to speak, in those rural situations, it might depend on. Actually, it's not even exclusive to the rural. It depends also on the person. Does that person have the capacity or will to help that child? because I don't know if this is true, but listening to some of these news reports, apparently this was a transgender person, and in those out there in those country places, how much are they tolerant? How much do they even want to interact with a child that's going through that situation, through those transitions?
To kind of piggyback on that, I mean, you hit the nail on the head on many topics, many suggestions there. You're right. Just like the police situation or public service, I think ongoing training is needed because all our youth, all our children, it's evolving. How we were learning or living way back when, it's always going to be another thing. It's always going to be another thing. It's always going to be another thing. What I think, and I think there's certain people that were just gifted or born on how to deal with students or situations, so forth. So, um, as much as I was very lucky and happy to have that there. There's many schools that some of these teachers are just there to teach the kids. They have their own issues they're going to deal with. They're going to deal with whatever they do in the school, and they're out the door. Again,
Punch in, punch
not,
out.
not saying they're bad to do that. That's just how they're programmed. They don't have that emotional connect with some of the kids. Now, that being said, there's going to be some who are going to be there wondering and worried about certain kids who don't come to school 2 days in a row and will be calling the house, wondering what's going on, or they see a bruise on this child's arm, or they're not eating properly. They're going to take that time to find out and dissect and figure out how or what's going on in the child's world. So there's again a lot of teachers are gifted or always they've already had that trait in them. And I do believe, like Slang said, there should be some training, if not extra training, for these teachers to enhance their almost like their spidey sense to see what's going on. Because you're right, in the rural areas, again, there's things that they're not used to seeing in an urban city, right? And you again, I didn't know too much about the person in involved in the shooting, but if they're transgender and they're in a rural area like Tumblr, how many people do you know that they're dealing with that are transgender or homosexual or whatever? You don't know that, and when it comes to them, you'll be catching them off guard. How do I do this? How do I handle this? I don't know, right? So they're like kind of like frozen, and maybe they won't get the help or the attention that they need. Who knows? And it's again scary, but I do believe that when you're in teaching, again, I think you're in there because you care about the younger people, and you should have that gene already to help ask questions, step in when you see something that's just not common on a regular basis, and hope to fix it or help them start the process of fixing how their mood is or how their situation is going further.
Sadly, though, it's not. I don't even know if it's sad. Understandably, I rather should say, is it's a job.
Yeah.
And like we have jobs that we just go to and punch in and punch out. You're not there to. You're not going to be talking to your coworkers and finding out how their day, how their life is going per se. And there, I don't know if there's anything necessarily wrong with that because that's not part of your job. It's if you take it on. So
Right.
while I agree teachers should, we would hope that they have a desire to help these kids on a level other than education. Some of these teachers don't even care if the kids get education.
Yeah.
And they're teachers,
True.
which is their job. But they don't actually care. They're there to punch in, get the paycheck, and go home.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in and revise what I said. I jumped in and said, yeah, my daughter's school does that. That was a certain teacher, not all the teachers. I can even pinpoint one of her teachers from the past that definitely wouldn't do that because they are that teacher who punched in and punched out and would say all year, oh, yeah, she's doing good. And then at the end, the report card said, what? Oh, I thought you said she was, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. It depends on the teacher and their heart.
Which leads me to my question, which Ben already kind of answered. Have you guys had experiences where a teacher has taken the time to get a personal connection with you?
In my
'Cause I haven't.
situation,
I'll say I don't think I ever have.
in terms of yourself,
Yeah,
or
like
as
for
an
you when you
experience.
were in school, when you guys were in
Oh,
school. Set up.
I will say I had a very amazing experience through the school system from kindergarten all the way to high school. I had amazing teachers that actually put in that extra to know me, know my families. I can even go right down to the daycare I started again. Like,
Wow.
and there was people who were involved and wanted to know. And maybe because it was the 80s, 90s and whatnot, that it was new to see maybe an African child or an African family growing up in that time, that they wanted to know because they were curious and wanted to see and wanted to kind of test the waters of what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and so forth. They could have been an experiment for them. I don't know, but I got a lot of love uh, when it came to my education, when it came to my well-being, when it dealing with all the schools that I went through in the system. So I was blessed for that, for
Yeah.
sure. Mhm.
Elle, what about you?
Personally, I never really had any issues like outside of school, but the only thing I could think of in school was I had problems with a certain subject, and I remember a certain teacher in particular. She would stay with me, like she would make that time, same as folks. Like she took the time to keep me. Like yeah, I did miss a part of recess, but she let me stay in with her because she cared, and
Mm.
she showed me the way in the rope and gave me that extra time to teach me what I couldn't catch on to with the class. So I remember things like that, but I never really had any personal issues where the teachers would step in. Just more school wise.
Mm. Oh, okay.
What you, Paul?
I had a law teacher who knew my grandfather, who was a Supreme Court judge, and so there was that connection. I was doing really good in law, and he knew my grandfather wanted me to be a lawyer. But I liked law, but I just I knew that wasn't where I was gonna go. And he pulled me aside, and this was grade 11, and he said, "You need to get into television or entertainment or something creative." He goes, I know that's what you love, and I can tell that's what you love, and I can tell that it just drips off you. He told me that in grade 11. It was one of the only teachers that, outside of what he was teaching in class, he got to know who I was, and I never told him that. He just kind of could tell that that's what I enjoyed, and
I
that
love teachers like that.
yeah, right. And I'll never forget him for that, because I remember but we were on a law trip to Sault Ste. Marie. We went to the law house where my grandfather's pictures in there and everything like that. When we stopped at the mall, long story short, I went and bought the Warren G CD at the time. This was 1990, I think
After
1994
going
or
to the
something
law
like that.
house?
Yeah, we went to the mall after. Anyways, so we're on the bus, and he's sitting at the back of the bus. I forget his name, but it was a CD disc man at the time, and he's like, I want to listen to it. So my law teacher put the headphones on, and he was listening to it, and he loved it. Well, he told me he did, but he was one of those cool teachers, and I'll never forget that. Yeah, he helped me out.
Yeah.
That's
Some were
amazing.
born with the vibe. Are born with the vibe.
Yes,
Fact.
At,
Yes.
at
yeah,
teaching
Fact.
is just natural to them,
That's
and
fact.
some of them will never have children, right? Some
right,
of them will not have any children, and they just know how to be that
Yeah.
side
Right.
of the house, right? To make sure
Right.
you're okay, to make sure you're doing all right, to make sure you're on track, to make sure you're going the direction you should be going. You thought, that teacher or your family thought you should be going to law. He said, nah, you need
yeah,
to go this way. That's the person who kind of takes that needle and takes it the other way and then puts you in the direction you should be going, rather than being told that you need to do this and you just end up not happy in your
it's
life.
like a
So
good coach when you're in
Yeah.
sports. It's like a real one of those good
Yeah.
coaches.
Yeah, for sure.
Because again, you spend more
Oh.
time with them. And not only that, they see a side of you that your parents may not ever really see, because you're in school around your friends acting a fool sometimes
Yes, yeah,
that you don't necessarily do in front of your parents. So they get to see that side. That's like then they probably saw you being
Cracking
that
jokes.
entertaining
Yes.
guy. So hey, that's where you should go. Whereas
Yeah.
your parents, not only, even if they do see that, they might be like suppressing it because they want you to be the lawyer, they want you to be
Yeah.
the doctor,
Yeah.
they want you to be this other
Yeah.
entity. My other question, since we're in the parenting side, is a little the controversial side. How much do we blame parents and hold them accountable for a situation such as this, where a teenager or a child is responsible for something, an atrocity of this level?
I hear it all the time. People, as soon as something happens, the first thing the fingers pointed to the parent, like, oh, it started from the home, But I feel like when it comes to that, you can't really point because the parents could be pastors and the kid could be a different way. So
Mhm.
when you point the finger straight to the parent, you don't really know the situation to go directly to you, you know.
Mm, mm,
But
Yeah.
but yeah.
mm,
uh,
With me, before, I would think it was 50-50. Parents are to blame, teachers are to blame. But now with social media and whatnot, that pull is different now. It's split. It's a third parents, a third school, and then a third their access to social media, because that dictates a lot of what people are doing right now. And again, you can't gauge where they're getting this content or where they're getting access. It could be at school or it could be at home. So you don't want to put it on one or the other. So it has its own entity. So that screen time and that social aspect is a very deciding factor when it comes to the situations we're coming up in right now. So yeah,
mm,
I'm going to split it three ways with parents, teachers, and social media slash society causing what we're having right now with our youth.
mm,
I remember when quick story. A friend of mine, her dad would pick me up and bring us both to school, and she'd always sneak lipstick on. Like
mm,
their dad was like really really strict, so she wasn't allowed to wear makeup, lipstick, or anything. But she would hide it in her sleeve and put it on. I don't know if you remember when kids back in the day they used to put their cup over their mouth.
mm,
They would just
And then so yeah.
Yeah, so she would hide her sleeve on her mouth and pretend like it's a cool thing, but
mm.
she really was putting on lipstick in the back of the car, and I was
That's
beside
me.
her, so I saw what she was
Didn't
doing.
even wait till she got out of the car. We're
Yeah.
so dumb as kids.
Right?
Oh,
She wanted the kids to see her with the lipstick, so she put it on in the car and just used the thing to hide her mouth. But back then, there was no social media. It was like more like MTV and Much Music and stuff. So it was
All
the
the way with Stephanie K. Do you remember those?
Hey.
so back then it was the music videos for us.
Right.
And for me, like I kind of did it too. I would change my hairstyle, but I would change it at school. So
Mm,
my mom, she would comb my hair in pigtails, but when I went to school, I would change it up and put it the way that I would want to wear it. And I knew that when I finished school, she wouldn't be home because she would be at work. So I was able to finish school, rush home, and do my hair however I would want it. But
bad breed.
yes,
Nice.
bad breed. But it was because of, I wanted to be cool. I didn't want to go walk into class with pigtails. So, back then it was the music video thing for me. I
Mm,
don't know if any of you guys did anything as
Man, listen, we're talking about hair. So I'm half Italian, half Dutch. My Italian side just crazy Italian, right? The Stortinis. And my grandfather, like I just mentioned, he's a judge and everything, super Italian. To talk about hair, trying to be cool, go back to school. And I'm a ginger, so it's like it's ginger hair. You can't see anything, right? So at the time, talking about music videos, getting stuff shaved in your head. So I went and got Bart Simpson shaved in the back of my head. And this is okay. And so I was so excited to go back to school on Monday, and I went in to see my grandfather because we were living at my grandfather's at the time. And I go in, I'm so excited to show my grandpa. I'm like, "Hey, grandpa, look at this. Look at the back of my head." And my grandfather's like, he didn't say anything at the start. He just kind of looked at it. I'm like, Grandpa, don't look at this. What do you think? What do you think? And he's like, yeah, it looks like you have ringworm. Like, what's ringworm? It just devastated me. I went to school like this.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. Oh man.
But
You got that from what? You got that from the TV?
Yeah, TV and music. At the time, I must have seen something because guys were shaving pictures in the back of their head, and it was like early '90s. I don't know, TGIF. Somewhere I saw that.
That was social media.
That exactly.
it's
Friday
true.
nights.
That's true. That's true.
Right. All right.
For me, it's interesting because it's tough. I get torn between like our parents to blame, or are we using that as a cop out to not blame the actual person doing the crime? Like, do we try to make sense of it by saying, oh, it must be how he was raised, it must be his friends, or it must be, it's never, not never, but it seldom is that person was just odd. There's something just wrong with them. So to speak to, you could be the greatest parent in the world and your child turn out to be a mass murderer because, not because of it, in spite of it. For whatever reason, they just don't want to be like their parents for whatever reason. It happens.
Yep.
So you got to build that as a parent. You got to build that foundation of the house as strong as you can, though, so that when you do send them out there, at least they have the foundation and the morals and the respect, and they understand what respect is for themselves and other people. And I would hope, like I look at it as 75-25. That 75%, I do put it on the parent because I see how much like that my wife and I that we instill in, even though they're young, I see it on the outside that it does shine through. So if you continually do that and are a parent who's involved and not like what I may have had to deal with or some other people had to deal with where the parent maybe wasn't involved as much, they didn't give a shit and just kind of didn't do nothing and didn't do much, but you scared me right there. So you could do as much work as you can, but then they can end up being crazy as fuck. But
I think for some, and you're right, like for both of you guys are right, because my mom was very, very strict, and some of the things even now, like I don't really do because I still have her voice in my head,
Yeah.
and I remember that as a kid. So, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think my mom brought me up pretty good. I never messed with drugs and things like that. And it was because of her. So I do feel that that can um, create an effect with kids in some certain way. And but then you have the bad, stubborn ones that just no matter what they don't want to listen. But it's I guess it's how you do it. I don't know. It worked for me.
Yeah.
You
That's
kind
what
of
I'm
just
saying. I think it depends on the child a lot as well. Almost a 50-50 thing. But it does depend on the parenting. Or maybe to what Ben is saying, maybe it's more on the parenting as you're raising the child. But there's a point where you can't use your parents and how you were raised as an excuse.
Yeah.
right.
This is who you are.
I'm balancing on that because I didn't think I was going to be the strict one. I thought I was going to be like the happy-go-lucky, easy one. I'm completely the opposite, which just blows me out of the water. I had no idea I was going to be like this. Like I'm like this strict militant one, and I'm like, "Ooh, where did this come from?" But so I have to like kind of catch myself from time to time and chill out.
Yeah.
Again, like Slang says, you could be having a perfect household and do everything you think is right for your child, and they step out and they're the total opposite. Like you said, they'll dress up and they'll bring an extra pair of clothes and they'll dress up a certain way, put up a certain type of makeup, cut their hair a certain way. And back in the day, I was never allowed to wear my hat backwards. Did I do it?
Me neither.
Yeah. Hell
Me
yeah.
neither.
I did it when I went to school, but anyhow I got caught, 1, 2 cuffs.
Either we're all here to like not all, but we three of us have given a story of we have great parents, but when we got to school,
Yeah.
you're doing stuff. Your kids are gonna rebel. It's just how much.
Yes.
But
That's
not
the
even
thing.
not even how much is how do you react to the
That's
rebellion?
true. That's
Right?
true.
Because
That's true.
again, if you go hard, they might just pull away even further.
That's why I have
Right?
to be
Yeah,
careful.
that's
Right.
true.
Right.
That's
So
true.
if you gauge, like I said, if you gauge in a way that, okay, you know what, I see you, it's noted. Just
Yeah.
know that when to pull out that card, say, hey, you know what, this is enough. But again, if they're not hurting anybody and they're having a good time and it's safe, okay, rebel. Because again, we did it worse, probably. We did it
Mm.
worse.
Yeah.
Right. And before us, they did even worse than us. So again, evolution is there, and we're there. We're
Valid.
just really when you're at that stage of seeing it, just gauge yourself. Don't go in all hot, because again, you never know if you just turn them to something you don't want them to be. That's a scary
Mhm.
thing, right? You don't know how they'll take it, right? Well, let's move on from the dark side, but we're gonna stick with adulting because this is what we're kind of dealing with today, and a good topic that was brought to us is hustle culture. Uh, was secretly, well, again, how I guess Miss LT, how about you give us this one? I believe this is your bread and butter here.
Um, I yeah, how could I even start this? Um, I know that as we get older, we have to work to pay the bills and take care of our family, and the way that the economy is going, you can't really stick with not all people can stick with just one job, or they don't really like that job per se, but they have to do it because it pays well and it pays the bills.
Mhm.
And there's things that you want to do, that you enjoy doing, that you love doing, you have the passion doing it, but it's not really paying the bills as yet. Maybe it's helping bring in a little bit of change, but you just do what you got to do, and you deal with it. And I know I've experienced that many times. I'm not really bringing in much, but the reason why I do that is because I know eventually something might pop off with it, because I'm doing it consistently and I love doing it. But putting that aside, sometimes people they have two, three jobs because they can't manage with just one job. And on the other side, that was me as well. Um, and two of them I liked, I enjoyed it. But how for you guys, how do you guys deal with, first of all, do you just have one job and feel like that's okay with the one that you have?
Mm. You want me to go first?
Go on, yeah.
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense of I'm able to pay my bills, save money, buy relatively what I want to buy. The no comes in that financially I'm not able to buy whatever I want to buy whenever I want to buy it. So that way the job is not fulfilling my financial desire. Well, I can even say my financial desires, because I think I'm I've learned to be um, mindful of how I spend, to the point where I'm again able to usually have fun when I want to have fun, take a vacation if I want to take a vacation, buy whatever, a new Adidas tracksuit if I want to buy it. Um, just in terms of like the big things, not like I could buy a mansion or the Porsche Cayenne that I always wanted type thing. But that the phrasing doing what we have to do, sometimes I don't like that idea, because I think it does keep us in a state of a cycle of just surviving rather than thriving, and rather than enjoying our work. I can't say I enjoy my work, but my job is so easy that, and it pays the bills, that why would I leave it? The why I would leave it is because I'm not passionate about it.
Mm.
But then comes in I got to do what I got to do. I got to pay the bills. The credit card has to be paid. The cell phone has to stay on. So to answer your question, yeah, my job is good enough, but not in terms of my dreams and aspirations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you remember when I was working slang at ACC, Adidas, the hotel, and I had that hustle going because although two of the jobs I did like, I enjoyed,
Hmm.
I did live that life as well. Like I got to do what I got to do because I was trying to save. I was trying to pay my bills. I
Hmm.
was trying to help my mom out. There was just so many things that, but I know what you mean when you say um how it makes you feel at the end of the day. You don't really have time
Hmm.
for your friends or anything. And I was tired. Like the time that I would come home after one of the jobs, it would be after 12 o'clock, 12 a.m. And then a few hours later, I'd have to wake up and get ready to go to work again. I used to
Hmm.
get up at 3:30 in the morning to get ready to go to work. And it was just like a groundhog
Do it
day of
all
life.
over again the next day. Yeah.
Yes. And it was because of that whole hustle world that I was living. Um, but yeah, it's crazy when you become an adult and you have to do that sometimes.
I
Yeah.
think I think that part's dying. But I think that there's going to be the generation coming right now with how AI is headed, where jobs are completely changing.
Yeah.
That getting up, that feeling tired, that more than one, two, three jobs, that complete, trying to help people here in your family, that I don't think a lot of people are going to understand how that feels,
I
because
agree.
those type of jobs might not even exist for like our kids. And
Hmm.
because things are just gonna, you're just gonna be able to tell, yeah, I do this, for right now, sort of like the paper pusher jobs, those things are that shit's gonna be gone real soon, probably the end of the year.
Hmm.
So the way I look at it is like I'm my hustle now is I want to find something that I'm going to be able to enjoy, because I'm on your vibe. Like Latonya, like I have my own side thing, but I also have a job that like you too. It's it
Hmm.
pays the bills. It's in advertising. I don't completely love it, but I've been in it for a long time, and it's kind of fun because you get to see the commercials on Super Bowl, yada yada. But then
Hmm.
I want to keep on that creative side, and I'm trying to keep up with the times too, because the hustle is going to change. The hustle is going to change, and we have to adapt to that. And we're at an age where I think we need to really get to know it real quick, because they already know it already. So the young ones, so
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Just to be able to do those things that we enjoy, and bring that fulfillment for the stuff that really kind of fills your heart with real joy, and not just the Sergio Tacchini tracksuit, which is a beautiful thing, because, I got my first one this past Christmas and it feels real beautiful on me, that velour. But, and that made me feel rich. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy, I put
I
that
got
on.
myself a Carhartt overalls. I know
Oh
how you
boy.
feel, bro. I used to watch
But,
Stretch in that back in the day. Like,
mm,
got it now.
just so you can have one hanging on one shoulder and one down the other.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I wear my
Right.
hat backwards.
Yeah.
there it is.
Yep. Now to again piggyback on what Paul was saying, I agree. AI or evolution. I'm gonna keep on saying evolution is the thing. A
Mhm.
perfect example. What Latonya was saying about how people used to go out, get up in the morning and you'd be going to this job for 8 hours or whatever, take a break and then go to a next one. I'll give you an example of a job. The garbage man. Remember back in the day, it was
Big
almost
shout out
two
to
to
the
three,
garbage dudes.
two to
Mm.
3 man job, right?
Mm.
You'll have the driver and then the
Good
two
point.
guys on the back,
Hmm.
and you have
Hmm.
the regular garbage truck, and they'll be jumping off, pulling off, and
Mhm.
you'll see them. Hey, Mr. Garbage, and hey, whatever. They were loving their job, even though they may have not loved their job, but they were showing that they were hardworking and doing that thing. And it's not an everyday job for people, right? Not everybody wants to be a garbage man, but a lot of people did that job. Fast forward to now, you have an electronic arm that comes and picks up the garbage with a
Mhm.
lever and dumps it in the back. So that one person, sorry, that 3 person job turns into just a 1 person job. That's the
Hmm.
person that's driving the thing and moving down and making it half as hard as it was before. So I get it. We have to kind of be ready for jobs to be kind of replaced or manipulated, where you won't need 5 people here anymore. You just might need 2 just to maintain stuff. So again, you have to have that hustle
Or none.
mentality.
Get to the point where you don't need no people.
You're right. There's going to be a time where someone's going to press a button, and that thing will be definitely running for the next 30 years for sure.
Mhm.
It's bound to happen. I think it's first going to be in the call centers. You're going to be talking to robots when people are calling for your bills or whatever. That's going to be happening because they're not going to outsource to India anymore, because why not? And when they have AI that can dial it for you, talk to you,
Even
and
cheaper. Yeah.
right? Because again, I can pick up my phone right now and click on either a Gemini or ChatGPT and have a conversation with them, and they will know everything about me in a span of 10 minutes if I tell them that. So what makes you think that those people in the back are not setting up that for the future, where they just have a dial zone and they just click the button and say, hey, you know what, dial this number. Oh,
And
this
do
person has a
this. That's
bill.
where it's at now. Now it'll do something for you. It's not just chatting to you and make
No,
you,
you're
make you
right.
feel good. It's
Exactly.
doing things now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But to spin off, I loved having multiple jobs. I loved being active and productive. I would be doing a call center at one place and then jump off and head off and jump on the bus and go to do work at a group home. And then again, have my side hustle, whether it was personal training or clothing or whatever. I always was doing something. I have felt accomplished when I had multiple jobs. When I had the one job, and I'm like, okay, you go home and like, well, what do you do now? And this is where the idea of doing the podcast was, or doing editing and so forth, because I have to keep busy. I don't feel uh, accomplished when I'm just at home doing nothing, because idle hands tend to get you in trouble. And it has multiple times it has. So keeping myself busy, I think, is the best thing for me or for anyone really to just either say in the no or keep them out of trouble. That's my thing.
And while I agree with that, I think it's just a thin line, because I guess I was ahead of my time. Growing up watching my parents work way too hard, in my opinion, to not get what they deserve for all of that work, it kind of made me not be the part of that hustle, always working, always trying to get a dollar culture. Because it seems pointless and hypocritical at the same time. Like, you're out there killing yourself,
Painful.
and yeah, you don't get to enjoy the spoils of your labor, type thing. So I agree that you should have a certain sense of work ethic, especially if it's for something that you love, and you should find a selfish benefit in it. Like, it should be something in there where you're like, I'm doing this for me. Because like Ben is saying, I think gone will be the days where they're already gone. We're working for the company. Most people aren't working for the company anymore. They're working for themselves. Even if they're working at the company, they don't really care how the company is going to do. Whereas back in the day, our parents cared that consumers distributing wasn't selling as much, because that was going to affect their job. Yeah, you remember
Yeah.
Because my dad used to work there.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, my dad used to work.
get
I used to get all Christmas time was a great time, sir. They used to put that place clean. Great stuff. I agree.
Their storefronts were so confusing. And there was nothing in there. I'm like, what is this?
Wasn't it just a warehouse?
Yeah, but they were kind of ahead of their time too. They were a location version of Amazon back in those days.
Yeah.
You go in there and they pick a catalog. Yeah, which is why they probably didn't last. They're just a bit too forward thinking. But yeah, that's my thought. I do think I personally do believe hustle culture is a scam. I do think it is, but I understand why people buy in, because again, is a pipeline into this slavery mentality. Work your ass off until you die, and that's your whole purpose. Be a battery for the system, basically.
Yeah. I definitely understand and agree what you're saying. Here's the thing though. I don't think a lot of people understand, like you said, what was going on back then, right? But I still think even in the current state right now, if you're hustling, they think you're overdoing it. You're doing too much. people are down. Like I told you, when I moved here, people said I had the hustle mentality when I got here. I was going all over the place. People said, yo, slow down, smell the roses. I'm like, why? This is how it is. No, you have to just relax and chill. So then when you do listen to them, you fall into that trap of laziness. I'm like, now all of a sudden you're like, okay, now I don't want to do it, but you could be doing it, right? You could be making more. You could be excelling, but now everybody around you are saying, no, don't. You don't need to. No, to each their own, really. To each their own.
I was just going to say that. That's the
listen to
other
that.
thing that we have to realize. Of course, as human beings, we enjoy the death by comparison. We do have to realize that your hustle and my hustle don't have to be the same hustle. You're working 16 hours a day may not be for me. I might be fine with my 8 and maybe 2 more working on my own thing for myself at home. But we have again this Puff Daddy, for all his greatness, he famously coined that he doesn't sleep. He's always on the grind, which is stupid. But there was a time where people thought, yeah, man, that's how you got to do it. You got to no sleep. They're dying, bro. What are you talking about? Those sleep?
Exactly.
You're killing yourself. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a relative thing, and that's what we have to realize. Do what works for you. If you don't have a meal tomorrow, you should be hustling a little bit more. If you don't have a place to live, you should be hustling a little more.
Sometimes the hustle is not even the work. Sometimes you can hustle and get in.
Very true.
Because again, there's certain people's, and I mean, we are talking about Valentine's Day and so forth and all this lovey-dovey stuff. Some people, honestly, I read online that there's certain women, again, I'm not trying to call them out, but there's certain women, when they're hungry, they will go on a date so they can get a meal and then gone home.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's also you saying that's also?
That's their hustle. They don't pay for food. They're going out on dates.
The internet sucks.
And that's wrong. So, that is also. It is a wonderful hustle.
What can you say?
She shows our stomachs just grumbling, like, oh, I know why you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yo,
go to the fridge.
Okay. Yo, Bill, what are you doing?
Yo, that's
good. Out? Yeah, sure. All right. You're buying. Boom.
She's on the lunch date looking at her watch like, I have a dinner date set up because I gotta eat 3 square meals, okay?
On the flip side, the man when they don't have a place to stay, they go check up
homosexual
woman.
Yeah.
Homosexual. Yeah. They'll find a woman that they, talk it up and let me just stay for the night. Boom. And they're good.
Did you call it a hobosexual?
Oh yeah.
That is incredible. I never heard that shit.
Right there.
We here at Darkness and the Vision Hue condone none of these types of hustles. You want me to just put that out there? The homosexual.
I know a couple homosexuals.
Oh yeah, I do.
They've evolved again. They've evolved. That's the modern day pimp, right? Go in there, talk, then bounce off to the next place. And again, like Ludacris says, he has very many of these peoples in very many different area codes. So the hustle is real. Don't get twisted. I mean, if you talk your talk, you can get away with a lot of things without having a job.
Sad but true.
Yeah. Some legal, some illegal. So again.
Hey, that might just segue us into our top 5 because that's kind of on my top 5.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's roll this into top 5. Top 5 things.
How are we doing this? Like 1 by 1 till we get to 5 or 5 at the same?
1 by 1 until we get to 5.
1 by 1. No certain order. It doesn't have to be in any certain order. Just 5 things.
Just 5 things. And here it is. Top 5 things that no one told us when you are an adult. Top 5 things that no one has ever told us to prepare us when you're an adult. Who would like to start?
Okay.
Hell, go ahead. Go.
That okay. No, this is good. Whoever came up with this.
Serious.
How hard
Latonya.
that nobody told me that you should have your kids early, not late. Because when it's late, you're gonna be tired as fuck. So that's one. Two.
Hold
Oh,
on, two.
no, we're going one by one. One by one.
Oh, okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. Whoa. That's
That's the first one right off my list. I'm just posting that exact same list with me. I'm telling you. I'm just
that was.
Do it in your 30s, man.
it's not for me right now. All right. LT, what's going on? What you got for number one?
I thought confidence would arrive. It would just arrive at a certain age.
That's a good one.
Okay.
But
That's
you build
a
it.
good one.
You build
Yeah,
it.
that's very true.
Confidence
Very true.
rises at a certain age. That was the lie that was told to you, which is very true. You have to build.
That's a good
Well
point.
said. Well said. How about you, Slang?
Like I said, not that nobody told me. I think it's just more like I didn't realize that you'd have to work 40 hours a week. You'd have to you have to have a full-time job to survive, at least in this country, in this city. I didn't because as you're growing up, you get part-time jobs. You're not really working full-time until you become an adult, unless you happen to be one of those super diligent children. But that was a thing that, once it was like, oh, you mean I got to do this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Yeah, that.
Okay. Mine is owning a house is a fraud.
That's interesting.
Owning a house is a fraud. Because you're never owning that house. You have a long-term rental. Because once you're gone, someone else is either going to buy that house or break it down. So you're just really just renting that spot for a bit. That's my take.
Okay. It's pretty detective. Hold, two.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly on that one.
I
think
I semi do too, but I understand where you're coming from.
I do understand. I understand your point, but I think that if you can get in there because you need that equity in life, and you have that, then it kind of opens some other doors in life. Nobody said that when you have kids that your me time is gone. Just gone. Me time is gone. And that you'll enjoy that time on the toilet. But you close the door and like, this is my time. For this moment, this because it's crazy with kids. Like it is just crazy. Nobody told me anything about that. Me time. I didn't even know what me time was. That's just living. No. That goes away until they go to sleep. And then you can have your moment and like watch some LSD documentary on Disney Plus. You know what I mean? And chill out, microdose a thing or two.
There's an LSD documentary on Disney.
Yeah, I just watched a really good one. It's not on that. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's called Orange Sunshine. Watch it, man. About the two that cooked up all the LSD back in 1969 and tried to spread it to the entire world. Ended finding itself in Vietnam, and but then they got caught. And anyways, good story.
Well, you're up.
Nobody told me that adulting is realizing that nobody's coming to save you.
Word.
You are the plan.
Word.
That's my two.
Word. That's a good one.
I mean, that kind of
a really good one.
One thing I was going to say is you're in it alone. No one told me it was
nobody's going to save you.
Right. Right.
Figure it out.
Which one should I go with? Okay, I'm going to go with this one. No one told me that once I became an adult, I would realize my parents were just humans, and they were adults too, who aren't heroes. They're not necessarily superhuman. They are just like me, and the mistakes that they made was because that's all that they knew at the time. So that's definitely for me. Basically help the idea of forgiving your parents for whatever they were held them up for, because you thought, well, you're my parents, you should know better. No, they know about as much as you know. And in fact, you know more because they taught you something earlier than they would have gotten it.
Okay, okay. I got one. No one told me in terms of adulting how important credit is in this world.
Where's the horn? Where's the horn?
That's a
Yeah, that's a
fact.
big one.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I like Stein said the story he said about the credit and whatnot when you go into the university or whatever. I did the same thing. Went to college and I picked up the Canadian Tire card. Year
Mhm.
through, whatever. And I'm like, yes.
Let's go to the pub, baby.
Tommy Hilfiger.
And all of a sudden, in 3 months, maxed out. So, what do I do now? Well, your student loans can pay for that. No, this is a good fun. This is a fun money, and I can't put that to the cards. That stuff follows you forever.
Yeah.
Forever. But
Ever and ever. Ever and ever.
Follows
Pull
you.
back. You're up 3.
Nobody told me that if you're not careful, how easy it is to fall into the same negative traits that your parents had. So you have to watch out for that. So if, like, for instance, if your dad was a drunk, how easy it would be to fall into that same dark hole. So to watch out for that and be careful. So yeah, nobody gave that warning.
That is a good one.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that because, again, it hits home for me. Yep. Hit home. I like that. All right, LT, you up?
Kind of piggybacking off of you, Tokes. Financial mistakes follow you longer than emotional ones.
I need to give you a horn for that because that's
I get a horn too?
yeah, you get a horn because we're living it right now. We're living it right now.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is
a good one.
Yeah.
It's so true. Slang, what you got?
Slightly on a more positive note, no one told me that it would be okay if you don't get married and you don't have kids.
Bro, let me
just fine.
You have to get a horn for that one because
you know what? To be an adult who doesn't follow the quote unquote tradition. It's just fine.
Right. One, if I knew that, man, not to say I would do anything different, but I'd look at things a bit different. But yeah, you're right.
Likewise, if I came to terms with it earlier, me too.
You'd be a different person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. No one told me in terms of adulting that you do not have to stay where you are to be successful. Meaning you can go across the pond, you can go to another country and be successful, right? There's a lot of times, people, again, when I grew up, grow up, and then stay here and, live your life in Canada. I'm like, okay, but you know what? There's a whole, 3/4 of the world I could definitely experience if I wanted to, and I could still be successful. I wasn't a dumb guy, so I know I could definitely pull it off in Thailand or in Pakistan or in Australia. I have a friend that's in Australia right now teaching, right? And I went to high school with him, so it's not like it's not possible. I have a friend in France. I'm like, but here I am listening to my parents. They stay here, get a good job, and whatever. I'm like, you just up and leave if you had the chance to. But again, that's me. It's me. How about you, Pope?
What do we got? 4? Are we at 4 or 5?
4.
4. Nobody told me that the exact moment that you go past 40 years old, everything hurts more. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me that shit. Because my ass went 5,000 kilometers last 2 years, and boom, MRI, boom, tearing the hip, boom, boom, everything just.
So true. So true.
Yeah. L, you're up.
Okay. Nobody told us how protective you have to be with your energy.
Ooh.
Nobody told me that.
No.
Yeah, no, actually, not in that way anyway. I don't think anybody told me that.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Stein?
piggybacking off of Poe, they did not stress how important health is to your old age or to your older ages. So just similar to what he was saying, even as simple as the recovery time it takes. Back in the day, we go, you want to lose 5 pounds, go play basketball for 30 minutes. Now, you got to play basketball for 30 years if you want to lose 5 pounds. And then the recovery, and you're going to get injured in that 30 years. So it's going to take 35 years. And then you got to rest. So add another 2. So 37 years should be what you used to do in 30 minutes. That's where we're at now. It's amazing. So amazing.
All right. My fourth one, no one told me in terms of adulting that no one told me how many people will be watching you fail or want to hope you to fail in life. That's a tough one for me, because there's a lot of people out there.
Yuck, I don't like those people.
Your downfall.
Interesting.
Gotta be on your toes. Not everybody wants you to succeed. Not everybody wants you to succeed. So again, that's something I did not know. Learned the hard way.
Nice. Last run. Pope.
Yeah.
Number 5. 5.
No, Jalen Rose. Nobody. No, you know what? Nobody told me that everything that is new is better or right. So nobody. What I mean by that is things that like old school values and stuff like that. Sometimes it gets lost, but it should carry over. And as people, as you get young, as you get older, you think that everything you know everything better. Everybody kind of gets that attitude in a generation, but we need to realize that this all should be combined into one. What our forefathers and our parents and our grandparents, what they learned, we can't forget that stuff, and we need to bring that, because it was a lot of work that they did as well as the work that we did. And can't forget about that. No, nobody told me that. So
yeah,
if that made any sense.
Okay. Al, you're up for 5.
Nobody told us that we would outgrow versions of ourselves.
Very introspective.
Fire.
Yeah,
Like that one.
that's true.
Like that one.
That is true.
Wow. All right, Simon.
Man, I got 2. I just gave me 2, but I'm going to go with my first one. So number 5 for me is nobody told me that sex wouldn't be as important by a certain age. They wouldn't care that much to have it as often as you thought that you wanted it for the rest of your life.
You know why? Because our parents aren't going to talk to us about that. So
That's true too.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's very, very true. Yeah, that one. Yeah, sex is like, yeah, I still like it, but I don't need it like I thought I would at this age.
Right. Not the end all, the be all type of thing.
Yeah.
When you're young in your 20s, you're like,
It was
you're trying to get it everywhere.
20 to fall.
Oh my God.
What you talking about?
Oh my God.
The whole purpose of life
That's it. That's church every day.
just to get something.
Oh, this is true. This is true. For my last one. Oh. No one really told me as an adult that relationships would be so difficult. And I don't mean just relationships as in a romantic, and just relationships in general to maintain.
That's true.
I think the older we get, the rougher it is. Because I have a few girlfriends that I think we talked about this on a podcast, or maybe it was
Or on
one
your
of
TikTok live, I think. Yeah.
yeah, how the dating pool now is so rough. Like it's not the way that it was back then. It's just
But I also think it's rough because you're older. It's difficult because you're older. Your expectations are higher or more cemented than they once were. When you're younger, like, yeah, you're more stubborn. Like, back to the whole, you would compromise a lot of things just to have sex. We would just not care that this girl wasn't what we really wanted because she was a woman. That was good enough. But now it's more, I don't just want to sleep with her. I want to know who she is. I want her to be a part of my value systems aligned with hers. Even if you don't want her to be a girlfriend or a wife, you at least you want to protect your peace and that type of stuff. Yeah.
That makes sense.
But then if if we're like that when we get older, why is it so rough?
Because we're setting our own individual ways.
Yeah, you've already built up yourself, so now you know who you are. Now it's time for you to find your significant other or your partner or whatever, and you have a very small window or a small what's the word there? Litter of people to choose from. That
There's
match what you want.
there's another part, bringing it kind of full circle with the couples therapy that I learned is not even that I learned, because once I say it, you guys will be like, oh yeah, there is a power struggle that you have because you have a certain set of ways that you want things to go, and she's gonna have her own, and then there's that. Well, which way are we gonna go? Who's winning this? And if you don't get past that point of who's winning this, then you're never gonna be in a true meaningful relationship. It's never gonna happen because you're both just fighting to have the power in the relationship. Especially nowadays. Once upon a time, it might have been different where women were more acquiescing to to the men, but nowadays it's more of a dynamic in which we both have to make adjustments.
Very true. Very true. 100% true. 100% true. Well,
Just before we go, my last honorable mention was no one told me that our childhood PTSD would be such a big deal as an adult and affect who we are as adults.
how about elaborate on that if you could?
The things that we went through are not even only traumatic things, but the good and the bad, but mostly the bad, affect damn near everything about the way that we are, the way we look at the world, the way that we relate to other people. It comes from childhood. It all comes from what we went through as kids. Our own experiences as kids make who we are as adults completely. And a lot of times we don't realize the connection. A lot of times we don't make the connection. Or we forgot that we suppressed certain things that have happened to us or we've been through, and how it affected us, and don't bring it into our adulthood.
I like.
That's my honorable mention. But yeah,
I like. Wow. All right, man.
it was good.
This was another good one, man. That's usual.
Yeah.
Can I read one quick thing before we go? I know
Yes,
it'll
sir.
take me literally 15 seconds. My grandfather, before he passed away, wrote a book of poems, right? It's called Only in Canada. This is I was like, whoa, Grandpa, you're a poet now, huh? Okay. But there's a poem here I think is perfect for what's going on right now. You know, America right now is talking about, coming and taking over Greenland and coming and taking over Canada and this garbage, right? So I was reading through this and there's this poem in here. This is a true story. It's called Not Today, KKK. In Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, was where my grandparents came from Italy, and they moved to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. The Klan was over in Sault, Michigan, and they had a plan. They wanted to come over the border and start to clean out Sault, Canada, right? So this is the poem he wrote about this true story. Massive Italian population in Sault, Ontario. It's called Not Today, KKK. And this is dedicated to America right now, because I'm pretty sure this is what would happen if they tried to put a foot into our country. In 1926, the Klan was found in Sault, Michigan, safe and sound. Its goal was a bit scary: to cross the border in a hurry, teach Italians, Catholics, Frenchies, all inferior, which race is most superior. Down Main Street, white sheets marched in order, unimpeded by police on the street or at the border. The Ghetto Boxing Club was primed and ready. Their hands were quick and steady. At the day's end, the score was Klan 0, Locals 1. Klan did not return. They were done. That's a true story. The Italian Boxing Club beat their ass and rushed them right back to Sault, Michigan. They never came back. So I thought that was a Cool little story, little
Gramps got
history.
some-
Very
Gramps got
poignant.
some- Yeah, Gramps got some skills there. All right.
Right.
See that? All right.
Yes,
Big up,
man.
Grab.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, Gramps, for sure.
Beautiful.
Hey, man, that's going to be it for us here. Again, we want to thank our guests again. Shout out to the one and only Cole, the original.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Big Ben.
That was fun, man. Thank you.
Thank you for coming through, bro.
Hey, folks, you know what? Before we go, give us a rundown of where we can find you on social media and so forth, so we can let everybody know.
I don't really like social media too much. I was on Instagram there for a while, and it was complete addiction. It was like heroin. It was like being on fentanyl or something like that. I was just like, I can't stay on here. So I'm on YouTube and Spotify, and it's the Ben Stortini Show, and it's just basically my creative outlet. It's sort of like having my own therapy session once a week, and it's everyday people. You know, it could meet with a friend every Friday and have a chat. That's basically what the vibe is. So, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
love that. And Miss LT, let us know.
Around the World in 5 Bites on YouTube
All right.
and Instagram.
All right. There you go. And then myself and Slang definitely pop into her lives on TikTok from time to time. We have some great conversations there as well. So we look forward to talking there again. With that being said, we're going to call it a night, a day, a weekend. That's it for us. For
Yes,
Slang.
sir. Happy Family Day.
Is that
Happy
tomorrow?
Family Day.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is
yes.
tomorrow.
That's why there's no school for this girl tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
It is tomorrow, folks. Enjoy your families. And if you don't have a family, go rent one. Anyways, that's all. Good night, folks. We out. Peace.
Boom.